Welcome back, all of the loves of my life, to the Weekly Weebs podcast, your favorite podcast out of all the podcasts ever podcast. This is, of course, part 2 of our episode, so it'll be our review. This week we're talking about Bartender Glass of God, and I'll go ahead and hand it off to Wiki, the man who assigned it.
Hello. Bartender, Glass of God is a show that I just saw, and I don't know how much you guys know about past Zach lore, but Zach used to be really into bars. Not in terms of going out to them, but I used to watch Bar Rescue all the time growing up. I'd have my mom record it so I can watch it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to open up a bar one day. Still have a huge passion for like whiskey, bourbon, and scotch, and just like mixing cocktails. I love old fashions and all that. I saw one of the scenes in the thing when they were making old fashioned. I was like, as soon as they put the sugar cube in, I was like, I think I know what they're making. And just terms of one of a hobby and a passion. Just looking at it and seeing a show about it was pretty sweet, so I wanted to watch it. Pretty slow paced, slow burn show. But I think it did really take you into the world of bartending, especially in a specific culture that is not necessarily like what we see here in terms of bar. We don't see a lot of high end bars like that.
Yeah.
In terms of the culture and the history of bars in Japan, we got to see what the first that's like the first impression people get when they come to our country is the hotel bar. So it's got to be professional here. It's just they have them, but not as much. It's just where people go and just get fucked up. They don't really care if the cocktail is fucking good.
Yeah.
Does it have a huge alcohol content in it? Fuck yeah, let's
that's
go.
all I need.
In terms of just not appreciating like a good cocktail and stuff that you meant to just sip and have, not just to fucking slam down and get drunk.
The show definitely has an appreciation for the alcoholic beverages, and also probably spent a lot of money on all the different brands that they threw into the
Dude,
show.
They probably
loved
didn't
that.
spend the money. They probably like, hey, you want to be in an anime? Like, sure. They probably got paid. Like Pizza Hut. That's the only reason Code Geass exists.
Yeah, I love that they did it, though. That just made it feel so much more real.
And it's-
We
Yeah.
didn't get Wick Donald.
Yeah, it made it so much more real. Showed people like if you want to make these cocktails at home, this is what you could possibly use.
Mm-hmm.
And Wiki, for some Zach lore to add onto your Zach lore, I was a bartender at one point.
Hell yeah.
So I did. I also wanted to open up my own bar. I don't really want to do that anymore though, because I could seldomly be around alcohol. Pretty much when I'm around you, Wiki, at Anime Iowa is like the only time I drink. But
It's his yearly
Same.
drinking.
pretty much. Other than that, like if I have to smell it all day, every day,
Not about it.
I don't think I could do that anymore.
That's fair.
But
So-
I loved it back then.
I would definitely want to run a bar like what they did in the show for sure. I would want just a chill bar. People come order cocktails and just sit down and have a good time. I don't want a fucking hoochie dance floor and all that stuff. People
Right.
throwing their asses back. You know.
The kind
You
of
want a gentleman's
small.
club.
No,
not a
I want to say not just meant for dudes, but where people just can come and
yeah,
like,
but
just
that
drink.
a speakeasy.
Yeah, just
Like a kind of hole in the wall kind of place that's small
Yeah.
and fancy.
Just make
and,
cocktails and that's it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Eden Halls. I think they refer to it as a speakeasy.
yeah, they
Mhm.
do.
They do.
in there. Man, it took me a while to get into the show. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really did not care for the first couple of episodes, but it was just kind of a nice chill show. I did really enjoy that music and ambiance. Really nice.
Yes.
I just did not care about the plot until like halfway through the show.
I kind of agree with that. The plot took a little bit of time. A lot of my focus was more on like the drinks that they were making, and like it was beautifully done. Like the animation was solid, but
Oh yeah.
yeah,
One thing I've really become very like critiquey of is audio quality, and even just like the mixing of the drinks was so good.
it was satisfying to
Mhm.
hear.
And I kind of put that in like a mixture of soundtrack and animation, because it's kind of like a little bit of both departments, because it's the sound department, but it's also has to match up with the animation
Yeah.
properly,
Yep.
everything.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I really liked it in this. It was just like I could just listen as like some ASMR of just him mixing drinks.
Mhm.
I also I really like the way they explained the drinks and everything, and like why things happened the way they did, and
the
that
history behind the alcoholic.
Oh, yeah.
and that he wasn't
Yeah.
perfect. It wasn't like every drink was perfect. Like he did screw up, and like when he did the competition against the one like really top tier bartender, is
Perfect.
like, yeah, this one is perfect for this customer, but this one is perfect every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it really shows like the different styles, and it's kind of the same way how I felt when we did Blue Period.
Yeah.
That every artist has their own approach, but there is a specific style that sometimes works the best.
And they kind of it reintroduced that lesson when they go to the bar that he said that he trained at for a little, that his master had him train at for a little bit.
Yeah.
Where they meet that girl bartender who chilled her champagne or whatever. And they're like, yeah, everybody does it a little bit differently. Nobody else chills their drinks like I do, and so yeah, it's just kind of cool that it shows off a little bit.
Just how
everybody's
many different things you can do to make a cocktail different.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I also really like,
You can tail my cock.
I also really like just how they started going really in depth with some of the the lessons in it, and more than I thought they would. Like when he went to go to his actual bar where his mentor was at, and his other side, his counterpart of being trained. What would you call that?
Classmate, I
Yeah.
guess.
Coworker?
Coworker, classmate. Where he took
Buddha?
over that to keep it alive in a sense, but rename it to make it his.
Mm-hmm.
And how he took his philosophy, what he was taught by his mentor, and changed it into something different. Like in his thought process of what his medicine is for his cocktails and stuff like that.
Yeah, we called it like a field hospital.
Yeah,
Yep, around the front lines.
yeah. And that was a cool, different dynamic to see that one guy trained by the same person, having two people trained by the same person, but going down two different completely paths.
Mm-hmm.
And the that other student, he's basically like the heir to the whole thing. He kind of acted as a son to their
Mhm.
mentor. He took care of him in the hospital, and
Which is wild. You can see his character change and stuff when he leaves that bar. Because when you see him in the bar by himself, just chilling, does not look happy.
yeah, he's dark and gritty.
And then you see him out and about when he goes to talk to his mentor, and he's just a completely different. You can see him smiling and stuff, and when he's out and doing, like getting back to like the roots in a sense. Especially when the episode where they fucking brought the mentor back and mixed him in the bar before he died.
Oh man,
That was
That
such a good fucking
that
episode.
almost
loved
made me
that
cry.
episode.
That was
That
such
episode was a
a
good episode.
I love that episode so much.
Just seeing all those customers come back just to have one more cocktail, which means like how good service and how like his teachings were like this, like it was just pretty sweet to see.
Yeah. Two things. One, the episode where they went to the distillery, super fun.
And checked out the barrels with
That
their,
was cool.
with their
I-
breath ears on.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool episode because it was a nice way of showing like, you know, how this stuff happens, kind of
Mhm.
a thing, and that was really cool. I wish we got more of that bartender tournament. Like I wish that
Oh,
we
yeah.
had seen more of it. It seemed like there was a lot of like kind of build up to it, and then it was like 5 minutes and that was it.
It wasn't super important to the story though.
True, but I felt like we should have at least gotten a little bit more of it to kind of one, if they're especially with this show, because this is a show that's exploring different drinks and like different alcohol mixes and like the art of bartending is what this show kind of is. And I feel like when you are introducing something where it's like whoever wins, or like the winner of this is the person with the most unique drink, or like a one of a kind drink, like you'd think we would have seen more than 3 people. Like I know that they were like the main characters. I just wish we would have seen more of the other contestants and like how they were also mixing their drinks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nitpicky, yes, but
It's valid though.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't important, but it wouldn't.
I can
No reason not to.
see your point, but also you got to find the balance, because otherwise, if you do too much, you get another Paradox Live where we don't know shit about anyone.
I wasn't talking about adding more characters of story. I wish we would have just seen some of like the rando
Just what
people
they
that were
up against.
participating.
Oh, like the beginning of the first episode?
Yeah, kind of showing off some of the drinks or whatever that they made or something. Like
The first episode, too, where they go in and, like, he does it exactly, like, the 3 drinks. It's a little too on the nose for me. It's like, if he had done, like, something else that was, like, super... But it's like,
I forgot
oh,
about
do you
that,
want
but
it
now that
this
you
way
say
or
that.
this way?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want it like this? I didn't know if you'd eaten yet.
It was just very perfect.
Yeah.
the
And then he
Sherlock Holmes of bartenders.
like, if he had done that later and kind of fucked up a little bit at the beginning, would have made a little bit more sense, instead of they made him seem perfect from the beginning.
Yeah. Gesundheit.
Well, I would say that's just something that he's just done before that. Like, that's just who he is as a bartender. Like, he's had, what was it, 8 years of bartending before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's had that experience to, like, he's already developed himself as a bartender. He may
Yeah.
be a rookie in a sense. He has been doing this for 20 years. But 8 years is still a substantial amount of time to know how you want to bartend, and especially if he was taught by someone that wanted to put the thought into each customer.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, solid show.
I liked the show a lot.
The small tidbits of background characters we got going into the bar was a really sweet touch too, of getting them like small little stories throughout of them coming into the bar, like the businessman and that doctor woman and the cigar
That was
thing.
fun.
Oh,
That
was
was
really
good.
cool.
Yeah, I
Implement
loved
into
that
the
little
story.
story.
The author coming in wanting to commit suicide right after
Yeah.
Mhm.
talking about how he thought he caused someone's suicide, didn't have that unresolved trauma. He thought he resolved but didn't have it resolved, and that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of felt like that helped him a little bit in terms, and
Grandpa was awesome.
but that's like so true, like knowing that
Yeah, I did love the game.
you can tell the difference when someone's in that mood when they walk in, and then he's just like, okay, we gotta not serve this guy, because that's like the front lines, like you were saying, like if that's like the gateway, like where do people most go when they want to commit suicide? What do
The
they
bottom
do?
of a bottle.
They fucking put it down.
Yep.
So that's actually like so fucking real that you just don't think about stuff like that.
The topics that this show does cover is very wide and also very good. Like the little mini, I think I liked the mini stories of the patrons more than I liked the overarching of, hey, be our bartender kind of a thing. I wish it would have been more of like that Death Parade style where we got to see. I knew where I had a feeling
A lot more positive than Death Parade, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, but we get to see more of those interactions with, like, the customers who are, you know, either having a really good time and having a really good day, or the ones that are just down on their luck. Like, I would have liked to have seen more of that with this show.
The one businessman who, with the doctor, when we put that out, and then he finds out, oh, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Because she was, like, trying to take the edge off because a baby died.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then you find out that she wasn't even smoking it because of that deal that they had. She was just like smoking, like lighting it and letting it do its thing.
Yeah, because she didn't earn the right to actually
Yeah.
smoke it.
I would have loved more of those in this show. And I think that that kind of a show would have been better. This was still a very solid show. I liked the overarching story. I thought it was fine because they were trying to find a bartender to make the glass a guy kind of thing.
Mhm.
I thought that was fun. I do wish that in this aspect or in this show, we would have seen more of these other patrons that were coming into the bar and like having him kind of evolve by, you know, from each of the patrons before being like, you know what, maybe going somewhere new with my bartending is something that I need to do kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's ultimately what happened.
A little bit.
Like
Yeah.
him realizing that this is his next step in growing. That's why he ended
Yeah.
up switching. That's the
And I'm
whole-
glad that that happened at the end. I really like that. I just wish that the story leading to that point was different because it would have felt probably a little less slow and would have been there would have been a lot more of those kind of what's the word I'm looking for, the like kind of the pulls that this show could have used, like the heartstring pulls that the show could have easily have done, because like the episode with the the mentor's last night of bartending. That was a fantastic episode. The episode with the businessman and the doctor, that was a wonderful episode. The stuff with the author was really cool. I like learning about, like, having the stories of these individual patrons coming to this bar, and then
I mean, there are more than just that. We do see other patrons beside that, because there's the lawyer woman. She was given the soup. I want to try that soup.
Oh,
Same.
yeah. I forgot about
that.
that because that one was like a 5-minute interaction kind of a thing. It felt like it wasn't that long.
That's okay. It really didn't need to be that long, but
Yeah.
I mean, that could be part of the thing too. You're just not remembering all the patrons that
Yeah.
he had.
There were a good number of them, but there was also a lot of the.
One of them became a mainstay as a character in the show that we got to see progress as a bartender that ended up working at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yep.
The blonde guy and his backstory with his dad, I thought that was really well done.
Mm-hmm. And then there was the redhead girl who sucked at bartending but wanted to get better. So
That's what I was
That's
talking
who.
about.
Yeah, that's who he was talking about. Yeah, I mean, overall the show was solid. The show was solid. There were things I wish this show would have done different, but that I'm not trying to take away from what the show is, which is still a very solid show with a lot of history behind alcohol and bartending that I never would have thought of.
On
Yeah.
God.
Oh God. It did kind of make me want to get back into bartending.
Same. I'm going to go buy a bunch of bottles now and start making mixed drinks at home.
That was another reason why I didn't like really pursue bartending, is because I didn't want to buy alcohol to make these drinks that sounded good and then make it once and then just have these bottles that would sit around forever.
It's fair.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts, gentlemen?
Ratings.
I think I'm good.
All right. Wiki, did you have any other assignment ratings from other?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I couldn't remember if.
I should be caught up.
I think you're right. Let me see.
One day we'll get a free in from Zario.
One day.
Oh, we didn't get Love Story with Yamada-kun from you yet.
Yeah, we gave all those last week.
No, wasn't that the one that
That was the one
got
you
confused
flipped.
about?
Yeah.
So Love Story with Yamada-kun was 59, and More Than a Married Couple was 72.
Okay, I got that one. Okay, so now you are all caught up. So then we just need zeros, and then Alright.
Bartender, Prison Drama 10. I love this show. It was really good. Animation, I gave an 8. Character development, I gave an 8. Soundtrack, I gave a 9. World building, I gave a 10. Plot, I gave a 7. Voice acting, performance, I gave a 7. Art style, I gave a 9. Uniqueness, I gave a 10. Recommendability, I gave a 10 for a total of 88.
damn.
What?
Nice.
My score is way lower.
I think the show is stupid unique.
Oh,
my uniqueness
incredibly
is
so.
really high.
Yeah.
Loved it.
A lot of my technical stuff is pretty high, but like other stuff I didn't enjoy as much.
All right, who's next?
I'll just go.
Okay.
Personal enjoyment, I gave a 5. Like I said, I really struggled getting into the show to begin with. Animation, I gave an 8. I think everything blends very well, and the making of the drinks itself, very well done. Character development, I gave a 5. I really don't think that anything changes much, personally. I think everything's pretty well established for them already. World building, I did give an 8. I really like, and I'll bump that to a 9.
World building?
Yeah. The world of bartending that we get into, it's really how how I felt with like Blue Period or Your Lie in April.
Mm-hmm.
Anything where I can watch an anime, enjoy the show, and learn something is kind of fun.
Yeah. True.
Soundtrack, I gave a 7. Like I said, audio quality is really good. The open and close are both pretty solid. Plot, I gave a 6 because kind of like Cole, that kind of left me wanting more from a lot of the little tidbits we got. VA performance, I gave a 5. It's kind of average across the board. Art style, I gave an 8. Uniqueness, I gave a 9. And recommendability, you know what? I'll bump that up a couple points too. I'll give that a 7, and totals a 69.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
And then there's Marley, who is
And
fat.
me.
I have a strong feeling that this show's ratings are going to be all over the board. So, personal enjoyment for me, I gave a 7. I already spoke on it earlier. Animation, I gave an 8. I thought it was really solid animation. Especially for a bartending show, this was really beautiful. Character development, I gave a 7. I do think that we do see quite a bit of development with the characters. It's not like, while it might not be like giant development of that character, we do get to see them progressively grow and learn more about each other, and we get to see more about where they started versus where they're at now, kind of thing. So there is development.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like there's substantial amounts compared to what we see in the past, but it's there. It's very much there. Soundtrack, I also gave a 7. Kind of like what Frenchie said, the sound quality with everything in the background, with the noises and everything, was beautiful. Don't remember much about the intro, outro. I thought they were fine. But really, a lot of the show's soundtrack, quote unquote, really stemmed from like the background ambiance noises and the background music and just all the tiny noises with like the clinking and everything. That true ASMR right there. World building, give it 8. They nailed the world building on this show. The stories of like all the history behind the alcohol and behind all the different cocktails and everything like that, and you get to see the world of bartending expanded. I thought that was really cool. Plot, I gave a 6. I already said my piece on the plot of what I wished would have happened versus what it was, but still solid. Video performance, I gave a 7. I really like the English voice acting quite a bit. The Japanese voice acting fit well as well, but there wasn't any substantial voice acting that happened that really made like one character stick out more than another.
Mm-hmm.
Art style, I give an 8. It's gorgeous. Enough said. Uniqueness, yeah, I'm leaving it. Uniqueness, I'm giving a 9. There's another version called Bartender. I don't know if this is just a remake of the old show.
Yeah.
Well, regardless,
Yeeties.
it's still very unique. It's a bartending show. I don't think there's been one like that before.
Nope.
That I could think of other than the OG Bartender. Recommendation, gave an 8. If it may not be one that like everybody will so much like, more than they will appreciate, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a show that I don't expect everyone to like, but I do think a lot of people will appreciate just how well they laid out everything for the show. So for me, total 75.
Nice. All right, and then for me, personal enjoyment, I gave it 10. I loved this show. It brought back a lot of memories for me, and it was just a good vibe all over. Animation, I gave a 9. It was just beautiful. It looked like I was really there in a bar, like about to get a drink. It was phenomenal. Very well done. Character development, I gave a 7. Kind of similar to what you were saying, Crimson, more so like their relationships with each other that we see unfolding and developing. Soundtrack, I gave a 7. World building, I gave a 10, because it made me feel like I was really there at the bar, like actually learning how to do stuff or sitting as a patron, and that is amazing. There's definitely not many shows that we have that go so in depth and have pulled me in that much. Plot, I gave an 8. I really liked the story that they were telling. Voice acting, I gave a 7. I really liked the English voice actors. I actually did not like the Japanese voices very much. But I
Fair.
didn't have to deal with them for very long, and I'm not gonna like count that against the English ones.
Yeah.
But which I thought were really good. Art style, I gave an 8. Show's beautiful. Uniqueness, I gave a 10. If the only thing that's like it is itself, I think that's pretty unique.
What a quote.
Yeah. Recommendability, I gave it 8. I don't think everybody would enjoy the show, but I would recommend it to like most people, especially if they kind of just want something to more or less relax to.
Yeah.
Total is 84.
All right. So that brings our average to a 79,
Right on.
On God.
which I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with that result.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been our review of Bartender Glass of God. Reminder that this week's assignment is, I gotta look before I forget what's called. Laughing Under the Clouds.
Under the Clouds. I was also typing it on my end. I was about to look it up because I was like, laughing something clouds.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, love you guys, and we'll see you again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Keep your bussies tight.